Then that fat hoe talking about show her what's in our blood.
Why she want her to shit?
February 26, 2024. Birmingham, Alabama. 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson received a text message from two of her closest friends. They wanted to meet up and talk through a disagreement about some stolen items. Nothing serious. Just friends working things out. At least, that's what Mahogany believed. She was a young mother to a 3-year-old daughter, known throughout her community as kind, sociable, and trusting. The kind of person who always gave people the benefit of the doubt, who believed in second chances, who valued her friendships deeply. That trust would cost her everything, because waiting for her weren't two friends ready to talk. It was 7 people ready to torture her. They had weapons. They had a plan. And they brought their phones to record every horrifying moment. Mahogany walked into that house thinking she'd leave with resolved friendships. Instead, she would send one desperate text to her mother begging for police. And by the next morning, her body would be found dumped under mattresses at an illegal waste site. Mahogany Jackson was just 20 years old, but she'd already embraced one of life's most important roles, being a mother. Her 3-year-old daughter was her world. Friends and family described her as someone who lit up rooms, who made people feel welcome, who genuinely cared about others. She lived in Birmingham, Alabama, where she built a circle of friends she trusted. She was social, outgoing, and believed in maintaining those connections even when conflict arose. That's who Mahogany was. Someone who believed problems could be solved through communication and understanding. That belief in friendship, in loyalty, in trust would be exploited in the worst possible way. Stay tuned as we reveal everything about this case. Drop a comment and let me know what you think about this story. Welcome to our channel. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. Like and share this video to help raise awareness and spread caution. Let's begin.
New developments in the case of Mahogany Jackson. Birmingham police say 8 people played a role in her deadly kidnapping back in February. WVTM 13's Magdala Lusan joins us now live with more. Magdala?
Yes, Sherry, a grand jury decided all of them will now be facing capital murder charges. These are the 8 people charged in Mahogany Jackson's murder. Some of them were already charged with capital murder. Others were facing only sodomy and felony murder charges.
On February 26, 2 young women reached out to Mahogany, Giovanni Renee Clapp, 23 years old, and Blair Angel Green, 25. These weren't strangers. These were people Mahogany considered close friends. They told her they needed to meet at Brandon Pope's apartment. There was an issue about stolen items that needed clearing up. Just come talk it out, they said. Mahogany agreed. Why wouldn't she? These were her friends. But when she arrived at that apartment, she wasn't walking into a conversation. She was walking into an ambush. Waiting inside were 7 people total. The 2 women who'd invited her, Brandon Pope, the 24-year-old whose apartment they were using, Frances Harris, 25, Ja Emery Monique Lewis, 25, Syed Jeremiah, 23, and Jeremiah Lee McDowell, just 18 years old, 7 against 1, and they'd already decided what they were going to do. The moment she entered, the group turned on her. They stripped her of her clothes, stealing her dignity before anything else. A firearm was pointed directly at her head, while they forced her to perform sexual acts. They beat her, dragged her by her hair, made her clean their cars while they laughed and taunted her. This wasn't a fight that got out of hand. This wasn't a confrontation gone wrong. This was planned torture, deliberate humiliation, systematic abuse designed to break her down completely. And through it all, they recorded it. Multiple videos captured on their phones. Footage of the assaults, the beatings, the degradation. They documented their own crimes, possibly to share, possibly to relive later. Whatever their reasoning, they created a digital record of everything they did. At some point during those horrifying hours, Mahogany managed to reach her phone. She sent a message to her mother, a desperate plea. She needed police. She needed help. She was in danger, but help wouldn't arrive fast enough. The group held her for hours. Every minute must have felt like an eternity. Surrounded by people she'd once laughed with, shared meals with, trusted. Now they were her captors, her abusers, and soon her executioners. After hours of torture, the group made their final decision. They weren't letting Mahogany go. She'd seen their faces, knew their names, could identify every single one of them, and they recorded everything. They knew what they'd done. They knew the consequences. So they forced her into a vehicle and drove her around Birmingham. Eventually, they reached their chosen location. Frances Harris pulled out a gun. Mahogany, exhausted, beaten, terrified, had no way to defend herself, no way to run, no way to fight back. Harris fired a single shot into the back of her head, execution style, clinical, final. Mahogany Jackson, a 20-year-old mother, daughter, and friend, died on February 26, 2024. Not in an accident, not from illness, but murdered by 7 people she'd trusted. They took her body to an illegal dumping site on Laurel Avenue, covered it with 2 mattresses, left her there like she was nothing, like her life had no value, like her 3-year-old daughter wouldn't grow up without a mother. The next morning, February 27th, someone discovered her body. Birmingham police received the call about a body at the dump site early on February 27th. When they arrived and identified Mahogany, the investigation moved immediately. But here's where the suspects made their fatal mistake. Remember all those videos they recorded? The ones documenting every assault, every beating, every moment of Mahogany's torture? They'd shared some of that content, posted it online, sent to others, created a digital trail that led straight back to them. Tips started flooding in. People who'd seen the videos. People who recognized the suspects. People who knew exactly what had happened and who was involved. Within 48 hours of finding Mahogany's body, Birmingham police had arrested all 7 suspects. Giovanni Renee Clapp, Blair Angel Green, Frances Harris, Ja Emery Monique Lewis, Syed Jerry McCall, Jeremiah Lee McDowell, Brandon Pope. Every single person involved was in custody. The charges were severe. Capital murder during first-degree kidnapping, felony murder, sexual assault, kidnapping, assault with a deadly weapon. Frances Harris, identified as a shooter, faced the most serious charges. But all 7 played their parts. All 7 participated. All 7 would face justice. The evidence was overwhelming. The videos they recorded, text messages, social media posts, witness statements, everything pointed to premeditation and coordination. This wasn't spontaneous violence. This was planned.
Truman Fitzgerald of the Birmingham Police Department's Public Information Division. Joining me tonight for this press conference is BPD Police Chief Scott Thurman, along with Deputy Police Chief of the Detective Bureau, Sheila Finney, and members of our homicide team who work hard each and every day to bring justice like this case we're announcing tonight. Tonight you will hear from BPD Police Chief Scott Thurman about an update in the Mahogany Jackson homicide investigation. And at this time, Chief Scott Thurman.
So good evening. The Birmingham Police Department announces 7 arrests have been made in the Mahogany Jackson homicide investigation. On Sunday, February 25th, 2024, the Birmingham Police Department officers began investigating the missing persons case of 20-year-old Mahogany Jackson. Mahogany sent a text message to a family member that she had been kidnapped. Early the following day, officers and detectives discovered Mahogany's body in the 1700 block of Laurel Avenue. Investigators determined that she had been shot. With assistance from the community, detectives were not only able to locate Mahogany Jackson's body, but detectives took 7 suspects responsible for Mahogany's murder into custody within 48 hours of this investigation. On Wednesday, February 28, 2024, detectives were able to obtain arrest warrants for the following suspects. Giovanni Clapp, black female, 23 years of age. She is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first degree, sodomy first degree, and assault second with injury. Blair Green, black male, 25 years of age, of Birmingham, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first degree, and sodomy first degree. Tasia Lewis, black female, 25 years of age, of Birmingham, is charged with felony murder, assault second, injury with a weapon. Francis Harris, black male, 25 years of age, of Birmingham, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, sodomy first degree, and capital murder and kidnapping first. Sanaya McCall, black female, 23 years of age, of Bessemer, Alabama, is charged with felony murder, kidnapping first, and sodomy first. Jeremiah McDowell, black male, 18 years of age, of Bessemer, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, sodomy first, and capital murder with kidnapping first. Brandon Pope, black male, 24 years of age, of Birmingham, Alabama, is charged with capital murder, kidnapping first, and capital murder with sodomy first. The facts of this case are deplorable and sickening. Saddest of all, they were made public by the suspect's decision to videotape portions of this horrific act. We hope to shield Mahogany's family and friends by withholding specific facts surrounding the investigation. However, we have determined that Mahogany was a victim of sexual assault with murder and kidnapping. Recently, Mayor Randall Woodfin and the Birmingham Police Department have urged the public assistance to help the Birmingham Police Department investigate violent acts such as these described in this case. In Birmingham, you answered the call. It's hurtful to know that 7 individuals could participate in such vile acts, but this case highlights the strength and the effectiveness of the partnership between the Birmingham Police Department and our community, as 7 suspects are now behind the bars and will soon be in custody of the Jefferson County Jail with no bond. And I'll tell you, as many of you know, I served a number of years in the homicide unit, and this is undoubtedly one of the most heinous acts I've seen in my career. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm very thankful to the men and women of the Birmingham Police Department who've worked tirelessly for many days and at very long hours to bring resolution to this particular case and get these individuals off the streets of Birmingham. And I also want to highlight the assistance of the citizens of Birmingham who came forward and gave us information that led to the arrest of these individuals. And I can't thank them enough.
Chief, can you tell us how long Mahogany was held hostage and tortured, and do you have a possible motive?
I will say that all of these individuals were acquaintances, that they were not strangers to one another. As far as an exact time of how long she was held, I don't have that information.
And do you have a potential motive?
I would just say they're all acquaintances of one another.
I know on early Monday morning, you all went out there with the family to go look for her. What happened during that time? Were you all able to find her? Or clearly not at that moment, but what happened? How did you...
Well, Monday's when we found her body. Sunday's when we got the information about the fact that she had been kidnapped and began a search to try and locate her. It was in the early hours of Monday morning that we received information that led us to where her body was, so we were able to recover and begin a homicide investigation at that point.
So in no way you all made it to the apartment complex that was in question?
We had been to that apartment complex on Sunday, yes.
So what happened there? Did you make contact with any of the
We did make
suspects
contact
at the
with
time?
someone. We did question some individuals.
What came of that conversation?
One of those individuals is charged.
Did they admit to that?
I'm not going to get into the specifics of the case because that would hurt the criminal case, but it was all pieces of the puzzle, I guess, if you could say.
And how do situations like these work with her texting her family members saying she was being hostage or asking them to send the police? And you go to this apartment, can you just go in? Is that probable cause? Like, how does that work?
So we have to look at the totality of circumstances. Each case is different, has a different set of facts. We have to look at what we've got. And then, there's different ways, whether we need to obtain a search warrant, we can gain consent, or, as you kind of alluded to, if the facts are just egregious enough, then we could go in and make sure no one's in danger.
So of the 7 people, have most of them been compliant and talking to detectives who have been working on this case?
There again, that's something that will need to come out in court. That's part of the criminal case.
Chief, how exactly did the public assist in identifying these suspects, and are you confident that these are all of the suspects involved?
I am very confident that this is all the suspects. Just them giving us some of the information that they had seen, that they had been made aware of, giving that information to our detectives so they could follow up from there, which led us to the culmination of these individuals being in jail today.
The investigation into Mahogany Jackson's murder continues. Authorities are still processing additional evidence from the suspect's phones and social media accounts. All 7 remain in custody, facing charges that could result in life in prison or even the death penalty for some. Legal proceedings will take time, but the evidence is clear. The videos exist. The witnesses are cooperating. Justice is coming. But while we wait for verdicts and sentencing, we need to remember who Mahogany was. Not just a victim in a true crime case. Not just a statistic. She was a real person with hopes, dreams, and a daughter who needed her. She was someone who believed in the goodness of others, even when they didn't deserve that belief. Her story matters, not because of the horror of how she died, but because of the value of how she lived. As a mother, as a daughter, as a friend to people who actually deserve that friendship. This case should serve as a warning. Trust carefully. Watch for warning signs. Listen when someone asks for help. And never underestimate what people might be capable of when they believe they have power over another person. If this story affected you, please leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Hit the like button to help Mahogany's story reach more people who need to hear it. And subscribe for more cases that demand to be told. Thank you for watching, and remember, justice may take time, but it never stops watching. Mahogany Jackson, 2003 to 2024. Gone but never forgotten.